Welcome, welcome, welcome. As a teacher, I have high respect for all my students. But let me tell you, the most respected of them are the ones who are playing sports. So, few interviews back, you saw my interview with Sia Hingorani. She plays table tennis. Now, today I'm honored to have a special guest with me who is my student and an international athlete. So, guys, I am so excited to have my student Suhail Dholkawala here for the interview. So, watch this interview. Stay till the end, where Suhail will give you special tips of how sports contributes to a student even in education, along with the fitness that you get from this training. Keep watching. Welcome, friends. So, here I have with me Suhail Dholkawala. Now, this is a student who has inspired me the most. Friends, I have seen Suhail when he was in grade 6. I think that is almost 12 years back, I think, Suhail. 12, 14 years back,
Yes,
right?
it is. It
So
is.
he was a tiny 6th standard, a 12-year-old child, and today he has evolved into a man. And not only that, he has pursued his education, but the most honoring thing for me is he is an international athlete. As I already told you, I have such high regard for athletes. And when it is an international sports person, you know the amount of labor, efforts that go into it. So I welcome you, Suhail, to this interview. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for joining us. Yes. So I want Suhail to introduce himself. Yes, Suhail. Please go ahead.
Sure. So my name is Suhail Dholkawala. I'm currently 23 years old, and I just finished my bachelor's in business management from Portugal, from a university in Lisbon, and I'm currently pursuing my football. So I'm playing football. Yes, I'm a football player.
So what I want to tell you about Suhail, so I'll just kind of talk about a little bit of memories that I have about Suhail. So when Suhail came to me, he was in grade 6, as I told you. He was a very chubby, very soft spoken, and Suhail used to get scared even if I used to get a little louder. At that point in time, I was a really strict teacher. I was just came out of my school teaching experience. So I was like a school teacher. Obviously, once I got into coaching, I am evolving by seeing the students' life from so close. It's a totally different ballgame when we connect with the children. So whether you're teaching in school or coaching does not matter. But when you see their life, when you interact with their parents, it's another level of connection. So I remember Suhail used to get so scared. He has his glasses there, and I have seen Suhail going through from 6th to 7th to 8th. And then, Suhail, can you tell us which standard did you start your soccer? Like it was steadfast.
So actually, I started playing football in school only, right? And when I was playing for school, that is when my school coach Vinod sir, he scouted me into Steadfast, which is actually his. He was one of the founders of Steadfast. So he called me. He's like, I want you to come and play for us. So that was around when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh,
So that is
wow.
when my journey began with Steadfast, and that's how things started,
Oh, great.
basically.
But let me tell you, when you were in 6th and 7th, if you didn't have that athletic body language, maybe you were trying to maintain decorum when it was class. Always, even now, if you can see Suhail is an athlete, but can you see his persona is like so soft spoken, and I see a little bit of aggression in some students. But like we have interviewed Sia also, she was also extremely soft spoken, humble child. And so with Suhail, I will tell you that when he went into the 8th standard, he was wanting to take this sport even more serious. And
Yes.
he was studying in Arya Vidya Mandir and wasn't getting enough time. So, his parents, and we had this discussion, a little bit of concern, ma'am, how can he give more time to training?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, and even to justice to, study. So we kind of decided that, he studied his ninth standard, right, Suhail? He studied
Yes.
a little bit of ninth standard in ICSE curriculum, and in July he moved on to IGCSE curriculum, which is the Cambridge curriculum, which was little eased out for him because in Arya Vidya Mandir he already had done a lot of grueling work. So much of studies was happening that he was already loaded with the concept, and he was pretty good. Extremely dedicated and very very honest with his work. So from 9 when he went into IGCSE, I remembered again Suhail was still with me from grade 6 to 8 in the ICSE curriculum. He was with me. Then in IGCSE, ninth and 10th, we studied together. And
Yes.
that is when Suhail was the only student with me. And
Yes.
I'm really so happy that, and it's really, a prestigious moment where this boy gets an A star, even in grade, the CIE examination in IGCSE. I mean, I don't know how does he manage. So I remember I love talking to students about their training. So I would ask Suhail about, what do you do? So Suhail would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to Shivaji Park. So he lives in Bandra on Carter Road. He would go all the way to Shivaji Park to run on the sand. I mean, for me, it was like I was really not so much aware about athletic, but my students are educating me and also inspiring me to get into that. So this is about my memories about Suhail, and now this is all that Suhail is going to share with me.
Uh,
Suhail, I
yes.
want you to be little louder, okay? Yes,
Sure.
yes, yes.
I'll hold the mic closer to me.
Much better, darling. Yeah.
So
Yes, Suhail.
first of all, I'm surprised at your level of detail and memory that you actually remember so much in detail. It's quite amazing, really. Out of all the students you have taught, so I really respect that. And you are absolutely right about spot on with the recollection. So about the when we my parents spoke to you about basically shifting the school, shifting the curriculum, it was because uh, my training timings were overlapping. So the timings of my school, my school would leave at 3:30, and
Right.
I had to be at Churchgate at around 4:30. And it would be impossible for me to take the train, go to Churchgate, and from 8:30 to 3:30 you are so exhausted.
Hmm.
So one of the main reasons for changing my school was also the timings, because the Podar IIT school had around 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Right.
So
Yeah.
after noon time basically you have the entire day to train or to study or whatever. So that proved a great decision for me. And you won't believe it, but in my 10th I have never played as much football in all my years as much as I played in my 10th because of
Wow.
that decision. So
Awesome.
it really paid off. And I remember that you were tutoring me one on one also for, I think, science and maths, right? Sciences
Correct.
and maths.
Yes.
Yeah, and that also made a huge difference. And also, I want to thank my previous school, AVM, also, because AVM really gave me very strong foundations, wherein any curriculum I would take up after that, it was really not a big challenge for me because my foundations were strong. So the only reason really that I had to leave the school was timing issue. But I actually love that school. I love both my schools.
Yes, Arya Vidya Mandir has an absolutely different charm. I mean, their students greet their teachers with a namaste. So there are so many of those Arya Vidya Mandir students who, even now, when they are doctors or engineers, I'm soon going to, Suhail, I'm going to soon interview one student who is now 30-year-old. He is, shifted to New Zealand when he was in grade 8. When he was
Okay.
in grade 8 in AVM, he has shifted to New Zealand. And, even now when he contacts me, he greets me with a namaste. I know I'm going to have an interview in a couple of days with him. So it's AVM has, that charm, I will say. I mean, honestly, there's something special about that school. I have been an AVM teacher for a while. So I
Oh,
don't know whether
really?
Suhail, you know.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
I was AVM teacher from 2001 to 2005.
In Bandra West?
Yes, in Bangalore.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you must be very little when I left AVM in 2005. You
Okay.
are 1997, so you were like 8 years old
Okay.
when you left AVM. I mean, you was in AVM, and I left AVM and I was teaching only the secondary students. We never met in school. Okay, so about Suhail, let me tell you, he not only, as he said, that in the 10th standard he has played most football, and that is because of the right decision and the right intervention. And I also want to mention here that from there, Suhail, what was your journey after grade 10? Can you please tell the
So
audience?
actually,
Yeah.
I want to share a funny story that during my board exams of my 10th grade, I actually flew down to Goa for a football camp during my exams. And
Awesome!
yeah,
Awesome!
so uh, that is like people don't believe me when I say that, but I flew down to Goa for like around because in IG exams sometimes you have a break of 7 days or something like or 10 days. So I flew down to Goa and I literally for all out I just trained and I came back and then one day before I studied for my exams and gave it. So that is the kind of how dedicated I was to football in my 10th grade. And after my 10th grade is basically when I got the opportunities to go and train abroad. So that was a very key moment in my life because my academy, which was Steadfast, actually it became India Rush Soccer Club. So they basically they teamed up, you can say, partnered with Rush USA, which is one of the biggest youth football academies in the world, and they sent coaches from USA to my academy here. They gave me opportunities to go there and train also. So that's when I really started getting my international exposure as a football player. So it was very important for me. And before joining Podar, actually, my father, I remember I was sitting in the principal's office with my father, and my father is like, see, my son will join, your school, but I just have one condition that whenever he needs to go to play football for anything, like even if a state championship is coming up or any camp I have to go abroad, like you have to let him go no matter what. And real respect to the principal of Podar, she said that yes, for football absolutely anytime you can leave,
Suhail,
do
can you
whatever.
mention her name, please? We want to really give credit to people who have contributed in your life.
The principal, Dr. Vandana Lulla, yes,
Yes.
Dr. Vandana Lulla.
Awesome.
If she's watching, shout out to her.
Yes, so definitely I want you to share because I have learned one thing, Suhail. There are so many people who have touched our lives. You guys, you students have made me what I am. I'm really learning so much from you people, and I really want to give credit. That is why maybe this idea came to me. I don't know. I don't know if there is any teacher in the world who interviews her students. You know, and I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to these interviews. I was doing more, and I started doing only once in a week. But you guys are, I want to give credit to each and every student. How much, and in these interviews, I can also mention like how you are shaping up my life. Okay, so thank you, Bandana Lulla ma'am, that it was possible Suhail could, come forward, in his journey. I also want to mention here as well, of course, we will be talking about your parents, but that decision of keeping him away for almost 2 years. So in 2012, right, Suhail, 2012-13, you moved to US,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't actually move to US, but I was going there on and off
Okay, okay, okay.
because to go there to train, then come back to study, give my exams. So that was happening for my 11th and 12th, basically.
So until grade 10, Suhail was studying with me, and I definitely remember the episode of him flying to Goa. But it was very casual for us. It was like for Suhail, football is like something. I mean, it's not a question also to consider to give a second thought whether he will go for a match, and if it was important, he will do the tournament. So I want to talk to you about this 11th and 12th when he was studying. Okay, there was no formal training happening from school, very little, right? And no coaching because Suhail didn't have any time for coaching. So I remember
Yeah.
talking to him on the phone. I asked him, Suhail, how are you managing? Kya ho raha hai? He said, ma'am, the fundamentals are so strong. The foundations that we have got from Arya Vidya Mandir School, that is from the ICSE curriculum, then from IGCSE, and because we were doing one-on-one coaching, and because Suhail would finish his school at 1 o'clock or 12:30, come to me directly, finish his tuitions. I still remember your timing, Suhail. Till 2:30 you would be with me. Around 2:30 he would leave, and then then his schedule was going to Churchgate and training further. So all this work paid off in his 11th and 12th, where he could completely focus on his training. So Suhail, more on that about Rush Soccer Club.
Yeah, so basically, even the 11th and 12th time, like God only knows, like how I have cleared my exams, because I would write.
Suhail, hold the mic closer, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, it's a miracle how I passed my exams, because in 11th and 12th, a lot of I really live by paying attention in class and lectures, because that's where most of my understanding and studying is done. So because I had to fly abroad, and train over there, I would miss a lot of my lectures, and then I would fly back just in time for my exams or just before that. So a lot of times I would not even know my portion for what is going to come for the exam. So I remember for my 12th, my 12th, which is A levels, the A2 12th it's very hard. It's actually quite hard, and I took science because I always I never backed out on academics. Like the hardest challenge that I could take, I would take it. So and science, I was genuinely interested. So I remember that while I was in US, these teachers would send me the PDFs of what they have done in class. And I remember I've just finished an exhausting training session. I'm sitting there, then I get these mails from my teacher. I opened them up, and then not a word I understand from it, because it's so complicated. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just deal with this when I go back to India. I'll just put all my focus on my studies. But for now, I'll just focus on football. So before my 12th, 1 month before my 12th, I flew down back to India once my training and my tournaments were done. And I remember that in 1 month, I finished my entire 12th ka portion. I studied for 8 hours every day. I went on to override mode, and I just finished everything off. I contacted my school teachers. I'm like, listen, please give me some tuition. Just, because they knew the curriculum the best. So I'm like, listen, I have a few weeks. Just teach me whatever is important. Come over to my house if you can. And that's how I passed my 12th grade. So it was really a struggle, but somehow I did it. It was worth it.
Yes, Suhail, but look, that's what, all the teachers, parents and students who are listening to this interview, listen, this is absolutely, important point to note, that Suhail completed his 1 year cup, studies in that 1 month.
Yeah.
Just because the foundations were super solid.
Yeah.
Secondly, Suhail, you knew where to put efforts.
Yes.
You were laser focused in your trainings, and I'm sure that when you play that goal, and I really don't understand that language, that vocabulary of game, but do get that your brain has to focus in and out, of stuff. What is not necessary, what is necessary, what is not necessary, what is necessary, and you are doing exactly that. So I tell my students, so I've told in the previous videos also that I'm creating a foundational course, Suhail, a foundational course in chemistry. I'm choosing chemistry, but actually it can be done in any subject. I just want to, attract attention of the entire world that foundational study is so important, and do not teach the child what is not necessary.
Yes.
It's actually declutter, man. Teach what is required. Be laser focused. As you said, when your teacher came to you for a month, okay, she did not teach you whatever was very ordinary or very, very trivial. She taught you what was most important, and then you could build up.
True.
So strong foundations and key concepts are important. So that is what I want to tell my students. This is the biggest takeaway. You can pursue your passion. Suhail, you are a student, who has actually put this, you've distracted me. Let me tell you how. You guys who are sports people, athletes, have distracted me from my work, where I always wanted to do only workshop and boot camps and intensive trainings for students, and not have them every day coming to me 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 3 hours. It's crazy. You're going to school, coming to a tutor, and spending 3 hours. And where is your passion and where is your gift? I mean, you're not even tending to your gift. You're not even aware that you're God gifted. It's not only Suhail. Sanaya, your sister. She also had such an aptitude for sports. Again, academically a great child. But I'm sure that she might have not made those choices. It is not possible for your parent to send her abroad. They cannot be so courageous with a girl child.
Yeah, and but actually, Sanaya was also, ever since she was a kid, she was very passionate about medicine only. Like she has always had it in her mind, even when she was small, she used to play with those,
Oh,
you
wow.
have those those toy kits of, surgery and with knives and all. So even she, like, I think this is really what she wanted to do though. She,
Awesome.
no doubt, she's a talented athlete also, but she never really was passionate about that, from my understanding.
And you know what, Suhail, see, again, this is your parents have allowed, because I remember Sanaya was academically great. Plus, she was playing soccer, from the girls' team. Am I right, Suhail?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
she was playing soccer. So I thought that maybe that is the whole family is into sports field. But again, she is doing what she loves. That is the most important. The point I'm making here is, you have a gift, and make a choice. Make a choice and stand by it. It's not easy. Nothing is easy here, right?
And explore everything that you can do. Like, don't just do one thing, because the more you explore, right? Like, okay, I can do academics, I can do sports, I can do arts, I can do crafts. That is when you will develop yourself.
Suhail, hold this.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
Because when you're speaking, it's like these are golden nuggets for my students. So I really
Should I
want.
repeat? Should
Yes,
I
please
repeat?
repeat. Please repeat.
So I was saying that, like, people can do many things. Like, you have many talents, so try. Like, I see students, who are just laser focused on their academics, and I'm saying explore. Like, play sports, do arts, do crafts, do everything, so what resonates with you. It's very important. If you never explore that dimension, you'll never know what you can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, one, two things, three things. I also remember when my daughter was very, very young. I wanted her to at least give 1 month, one month training. Chalo, ye karke dekh lo. And somewhere you find this is what I wanted. I was just you should get obsessed with your calling. But how will you know what is your calling? Only when you try things, you stumble upon the thing that you love. The love of your life, I say, is your career, and that you will never give a second thought. Like Suhail never gave a second thought of whether he should go and play the tournament and wait back for his school exam. There was no second. And also credit to your parents, especially your father, who was so clear about what his son is going to do.
Yes.
So, I mean, I am going to
remember-
definitely. Yes.
I remember that actually when I was around 14, I think in the 8th grade, like my father, like he just sat me down and he told me, what do you want to pursue? Like, just tell me clearly what you want to pursue. So I told him that, of course, I'm going to pursue football. And he said, okay, then let's go for it. So that was it. Like, he has always seen me work hard, and he has always seen me train, get up in the morning, fight with my parents, even if it's monsoons. No, I will go. Even if the ground is, mucky or whatever, the roads are flooded, like I will go, I will play. So they have seen me, like so laser focused and give so much. So even that motivates your parents, that okay, that he is serious about it. It's not just a passing phase or something like that. So, but parent support is very important, no doubt about it.
So, you know what, Suhail, you have really given me an absolute paradigm shift here. So, I was thinking that parents are responsible to look after their child's vocation and passion. But what you're saying is no, 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 no. The child is responsible. Be so laser focused, so determined that your parents get inspired to support you. Awesome. I mean, I always thought it is our responsibility. Thank you so much. So, all my students, guys, You saved me and all the parents who helped. Guys, my dear student, it is your responsibility. Get your passion. Be serious. So I sometimes tell my students, while they're preparing for the exam, इतनी पढ़ाई करो कि your parents should dare not ask you, कि अगर तुम 5 में 10 मिनट के टीवी देख भी रहे हो, उनको उनको ऐसे लगना चाहिए कि ओए देखने दो, it's like you are so obsessed with what you're doing that if you're taking a break also they shouldn't disturb you when you are relaxing. So likewise, Suhail has fought with his parents, gone and trained in weirdest and most difficult times. So I also want to tell you, because we are talking about the parents, I really want you to talk a little more. So about Suhail's mother, I have always interacted with her. I have not interacted much with his father. Maybe once when we decided when they were deciding of shifting him to IGCSE. I think that was once I must have spoken to him. But I remember about Suhail's mom. There's something I have noticed that Suhail, I don't know whether it is true, but she is all the time meditating. She is all the time praying. Is that so, Suhail?
She does have a lot of faith in God. Definitely, yes, that's
yes.
true.
So I've seen right from when Suhail was grade 6. I have met her, and if there have been endless meetings, but all the time when I'm talking, she is all the time praying. And I'm telling you, friends, whatever is your faith, but prayer, is taking your children. You're contributing to your child's life by praying. It is. I mean, I have never seen any parent in my life, okay, who has been so much into, the well-being of the child. Okay, she is cooking what Suhail wants and Sanaya wants. She is doing all that is required. So
Sorry
Suhail, I'm
to
going to
interrupt
give
you.
yes.
Sorry, but you spoke about cooking what we want, and I have to say hats off to my mother because I have completely changed the way the food is made in the house because my requirements are so different, and without my mother's compliance it would be very difficult because for an athlete the food has to be different to what usually people are eating, right? You have to avoid unnecessary spices, you have to avoid unnecessary oil, you have to cook certain ratio of protein, carbs, macros. There have to be things like your nutritionist from the club will tell you, then you have to tell your parents, and then it's everything has to work together for it to happen.
Absolutely.
So really credit goes to my mother a lot.
Yeah, so I want you to talk a little more. So that is what I know about her. And as he said that truly the entire kitchen, has to be set for an athlete's meal. So Suhail, yes, talk a little more about what happens, what kind of food you eat and how is your mother and your dad, what are the compliances that they have to look into.
So basically my dad is definitely not very happy because he doesn't get all the unhealthy food that he wants.
Awesome.
But it's good for him in the long run. So
absolutely.
But getting a bit onto even the science of nutrition and how important food is, I really have to give a lot of credit to Rush, because when we were 12, 13, 14, they used to hold seminars or, on get in touch with nutritionists, dietitians, and they used to educate us on how to eat. So the serious players of the club were always guided on that. So from a early age, we knew that, okay, you have to have your protein. It's very important for an athlete. Your carbs. So there's a concept of carb loading, which is before a game or, something like that. You load your body with carbohydrates. So you have energy. Your muscles don't fatigue. You don't cramp up. And, what to eat before your training, what to eat after your training. The how to read the tags of things in the grocery store, so how much fat is there, how much protein is there, all the nutrients. So all these things, eating seasonal fruits because they will have the least amount of pesticides and stuff like that. So all these details and all these things you learn along the way, and they make a huge difference.
Okay, so that's so educative, So what I understood is training. Not only that, the physical fitness training that Suhail was undergoing, but the seminars that were conducted by the academy. And I'm sure that even parents, if you want your child to eat right, all of us want. The one thing I got that your parents also will start shifting their food routine and obviously are going to get benefited. And secondly, I always feel that why not make them listen to some nutritionist talk rather than you talking something, because obviously children don't trust their parents, and they shouldn't be trusted for
And
nutrition.
shout out to my nutritionist, my mentor in nutrition, which is Nazneen ma'am. So if she watches this, thank you very much for your guidance. I appreciate it.
Really. So, as it is rightly said, you are what you eat. And an athlete, or even when we are doing our regular work, if we are going to abuse your body, if we are going to abuse our body with junk food, with wrong amount of sleep, and not enough water, it's going to, the repercussions are, bad. So, thank you so much. And also, I also got to know that seasonal fruits, why they are, I knew that seasonal fruits are good, but actually, the thing is that because they are going to be fresh and, devoid of pesticides. Okay, great. Lovely. I mean, I can go on and on and on talk about sports and your training. So, Suhail, I want to really tell us about your training schedule when you were in school and what happened when you were in grade 10 and 11 and 12. Okay. So, how many hours of training you would do? And what kind of food, if you could just tell us?
What kind of food?
Food, I mean, so food, matlab, you told us what food, but is it that you never had junk, yeah, all the time healthy? वो सारा भी आपको बताना है कि what are the breaks you take and all that, so that it is realistic for my students. They shouldn't completely leave a boring life. So can you please tell us about your entire training in India when you were in school as a student, and when you finished your training, क्या किया है? So I want you to really give us a detail about that. Yeah.
Sure. So in my schooling life, basically there were two things. One is the school team, which was I would train Arya Vidya Mandir. Actually, some of my fondest memories, because that is actually the first team that I ever played for, and my love for football began from there. So we would have trainings in the morning before our lectures. So we would reach St. Andrews, right opposite Bandra West, and around 6 o'clock our training would start, and then we would train hard. Then school. So even in school, because we were such fanatics, we used to get those smiley balls. I'm sure the yellow smiley balls. So we would not eat in the short break. We would be kicking the ball around. Sometimes forget to eat also. Then again in lunch break, we would go and be playing with the ball. So that was just what we used to do, and then of course after school, that is when I used to go and train with the academy, which was Steadfast Academy. So this was basically the schedule. And of course, when you are younger, you don't really take diet that seriously, because you don't know much, and you just go whatever is being fed to you in the canteen, or stuff like that, you do. So then really once I was 12, I would say around 12, 13, I started getting the understanding of food, and that is when also I got around those ages is when I started getting called for better teams and AIFF tournaments. So AIFF is All India Football Federation. So those tournaments, and then getting called to play for Maharashtra and stuff like that. So once the level increases and you get to know more, then gradually your understanding, and then your then definitely your food or your diet becomes better, stuff like that. So it's a gradual process. So as I started gaining more experience, started reaching higher levels, naturally nutrition, science of training, football methodology, all that I started learning and started evolving. Then the next phase I would describe is the 11th and 12th, when I got the exposure to play abroad in the United States. And that was like a huge wake-up call for me, because I saw the infrastructure that they had, the grounds, the players, the professionalism. It was so mind blowing. In India, unfortunately, you don't have that infrastructure. Everything is so structured over there. And I remember when I went over there, the coaches were, like, see, you have to pick up, because these players have gotten better grounds, better training. And within the span of few months, they were just surprised at how I was developing, because when you put someone in that environment for optimal growth, right, automatically your hard work pays off even more. So that is my 11th and 12th phase, where I got exposure to the United States. And after I
How
finished,
many hours were you training when you would fly to USA? How many hours in a day was the training schedule?
so actually my coach, one of my mentors in the USA, his name is Tim Schultz. He told me that you maintain a diary, a calendar. In that calendar, every day, how many hours you put in, you write down. And he's like, in a week, you have to touch 20 hours. Like, that is the expectation I have from you. I don't care how you do it, but you have to touch 20 hours. At the end of the week, you show me your calendar, I will sign it. So throughout that time, I maintained that 20 hours thing. By hook or by crook, I would always put in 20 hours. And it's not just you put in 20 hours, you have to really make the most of it. So you train well for 20 hours. So that is the kind of timing I maintained when I was in the US. And then when I moved on, after that, I moved on to Europe, which was by far the biggest challenge of my career, because Europe is the mecca of football. I'm sure everyone knows that Europe is the place to be. So I got this opportunity to go to Portugal through Rush only, because they have connections everywhere. So they sent me, and that is a whole new chapter that I'm still going through. Actually, right now, I'm still in it.
In 11th and 12th, when you were training, you were in India. Then you moved on to Portugal, and then you continued your education in Portugal, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
tell a little bit about that, about your experience as a student in Portugal.
So my agent actually in Portugal, he contacted this university, right? And he told them that, look, I'm gonna put some student athletes with you. And so he kind of made a foreign he made a group kind of for foreign students who have come to play football as their primary goal. And he made a curriculum over there, so it's a
Wow.
proper bachelor's degree. So we will go through the entire same curriculum in English that the Portuguese students are studying, but it's just that our timings will be more flexible.
Okay.
So basically, he designed it in a way where we go to university and attend lectures in the afternoon. So our mornings and our evenings are free for
Okay.
either gym training or field training or whatever. So that is basically the situation.
So were you able? I mean, after being in Portugal, like I think ever since from 2015, right? You are there in Portugal. So have you got the conversation? I mean, you are able to communicate with them. How is it? You are able to read or understand something?
So I can understand Portuguese to some degree. To be honest, like, language is not my strong suit. I don't really learn languages well. But the good thing in Portugal is that most people, the youth especially, they do speak English. So it's easy to get your way around, and also the Portuguese that you need to know to just get along. Hi, how are you? Thank you, welcome, and all the football lingo, to we know only for sure. The football lingo I know 100%. So I do know enough to get around, definitely.
Awesome. So, after you gave me your credentials, I was going through Rush Soccer Club, was trying to find out, so I got to know that it is training like almost 5,000, youth every year, and it's winning national championships. And so it's, the Colorado based, it is in Littleton, right? Rush Soccer Club, the one you were training.
The main headquarters, yes. The
It's
one
Colorado.
where I was training, yes.
Yes.
That's right.
And then I was also trying to find out about your Portugal clubs, but everything was in Portuguese. The translation was also weird. So, but it's tough. Like I don't know how you survive, because when most of the I think written material is in Portugal there, right?
Yes,
The
it is.
time.
And when you Google Translate it, sometimes, it's not 100% accurate. But you know, these
like a
things.
poetry, because maybe their way of the sentence formation must be something that I was not able to get the essence. Yeah.
But you know, once you, it's not easy, of course, but once you live there, you build your connections, and then you know, you build your base, you interact with people. And you know, one thing I have to say about that country is that the people are so nice over there. So Portuguese people are so friendly and so forthcoming, and they will go out of their way to help you. So I have really never, if I've ever had a situation where you know I can't solve it on my own, people have always come and helped me. So that is one thing I really want to say. Like, I appreciate that a lot.
So I got to know about, there are quite a few European countries where, they will really come forward. Like I remember one of my friend mentioning that, if you ask for help, they can actually go out of the way and, take you, and, it's not, they'll leave you in the middle of that problem. They'll ensure that it is done.
That's true.
Wonderful. So, Sohail, tell us about the clubs that you played. What level of soccer are you playing in Portugal right now, and your journey, and why you are in India right now? So, what is it? Just explain. Just tell us.
Yeah, so I played for a wide variety of clubs, you know, since I've been to Portugal, and they have. I was really blown away by how organized and sophisticated football is in Europe, and I'm assuming in Europe too, but specifically in Portugal. Every team that you go to will have a physiotherapy department or a physiotherapist, a physical trainer, a coach. So a team has an entire staff of people, you know, to look after their players. They have wonderful grounds over there. There are grounds everywhere. So this is what I learned, and also I learned how their style of football is so prominent. Every country you go to, you realize that how their culture, their way of thinking is kind of depicted in football. So when I went to Portugal, I saw that you know that they play such fast paced. I mean, I'll get a bit technical here, but you know they play so fast paced possession football, very similar to Spanish, which is right neighboring. So you can see the influence of the neighboring countries' football also. And this is the football that I really always like to play, and it was unfortunately lacking in India because that understanding of keeping the ball, maintaining position of the ball, and then attacking at the right time. This is something that I really observed in the Portuguese clubs over there. So it is really good to see that and learn that.
Awesome. So you mean that there is a particular method that that country will follow, and
Yes.
it is also influenced by the country who is, in the vicinity, and they have similar kind of method. And okay, cool, wonderful, wonderful. So, so you are now in India. So let me tell you, friends, when I asked Suhail for an interview, he very promptly agreed to it. Not only that, okay. Meanwhile, while I was, catching up on other things, Suhail has sent me his training videos. He said, "Ma'am, I want the audience, everybody to know how an athlete is utilizing the time, okay, when person is in quarantine, still trying to keep up the game." So I am going to play that during this interview. So I want you to tell us more, Suhail, about your
Sure.
return to India. Yeah, for a
Sure.
while. Yeah.
So actually, unfortunately, in the beginning of this season that is going on, in the very first match that I was playing, I dislocated my shoulder. So I was dribbling with the ball, and two players came, you know, and kind of tackled me, and I felt really badly with my arm out. So I dislocated my shoulder,
Okay. Huh.
and I've already had a surgery on that shoulder. So it was quite disheartening, you know, because an athlete in the pre-season, which is the period before the season starts, we really work very hard on the physical aspect in, you know, in the gym, working on our body, working on our speed, agility, fitness, stamina. And I'd really put in, you know, for 2 months lot of effort, and that effort is supposed to pay off in the season. So, and to get injured in the very first game of the season, you know, it was quite disheartening. Like the pain is fine. Like as an athlete, you know, you are used to, you know, getting hit and stuff. part of not being able to play and kind of seeing your effort, getting wasted. So that was a very difficult time for me. I had to fly back to India, and the doctors were contemplating whether to do surgery, whether to not do surgery. And luckily, by forces above, the doctor said, that no surgery required, you will heal on your own. So then began my phase of rehabilitation. So sports rehabilitation, which is a whole science by itself, and it's so amazing. So I have to give a shout out definitely to my strength and conditioning coach. His name is Denzel Coelho, and he's an amazing coach. So I started from working on my shoulder, strengthening my left shoulder, all the muscles, and I know you'll be proud because you teach biology also. So now I know a lot about anatomy. So the deltoids, you have your rear delts, your front deltoids, your side deltoids, your rotator cuff. I learned, you have to strengthen all these muscles around it, your scapula, everything. And I really worked on it. And I got back, my strength and everything like that. My shoulder has healed pretty well. And now what I'm going through right now is preparing for the upcoming season, which is the videos I sent you of doing some strength and conditioning work. So during this quarantine time, I know gyms are closed and they will probably be for quite some time. So my trainer told me, to get a lot of bands, resistance bands, loop bands, some dumbbells, and just use equipment around the house and use that as resistance to train your body. So I'm following an entire training program designed by my coach, and those are basically the snippets I sent you. So every alternate day, basically I send him the videos so he can analyze my form and everything like that.
So this is a custom training for you because you're healing, and also maybe strengthening your other parts, other muscles, but also taking care that you are a little injured and you have to heal your shoulder, right? So,
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. So, I will be putting those videos, and I want all of you to see the ways he is doing, but definitely we are not going to, copy that. That's the reason, it's custom for Suhail. If there are some of them we can also use and find how we can train our leg muscles and maybe, shoulders and all that. But let's not take the whole thing because that's for Suhail, right? Yeah, it's inspiring, Suhail. So when I was yesterday putting all your videos together in the form of a film, I'm going to send that to you. I've created a short film, and I'm going to so I'll send that to you. So in that, I was so inspired to start doing things like this because I've also developed this liking for training, strength training, and it's really inspiring. I'm sure so people looking at your video might want to follow and do the same thing. You can, but you have to be a little careful of how you can take it. Wonderful, Suhail. So coming to, I had so many questions to ask you about academics, but I think the point I wanted to make, Suhail, through all these interviews, is not about the merit. It's about your focus. It's about you giving yourself into the process. So, Suhail is actually Suhail ka pura khandan, I should say, has given into the training. So let it be Suhail's football training, sport training, or Sanaya's medicine training. The whole focus is about that, and I want to really drum this, that strong foundations, training, persistence, these are certain values that you are to be kept with you throughout your life. Yes. So Suhail,
one
yes.
thing, if you don't mind me adding,
hold the speaker.
One thing you don't mind me adding is you just said something very, very important, is that be focused on the process. So, because I also practice yoga and I'm very influenced by it, they say that if you have one eye on the goal, you only have one eye on the process, or to rather find your way. So always be process oriented, because when you're process oriented, that is when you will enhance your capabilities, and then you will automatically achieve whatever you want to achieve. So always be process oriented. It's the most important. Be fully involved in what you are doing right now.
So he said something and he didn't say something. I'll say what he did not say. Be process oriented. Do not worry about the outcome.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So I always say this to my students, by telling them that you have to only focus on enjoying the subject. Put yourself into the training. Do not worry of whether you're getting a 99 or a 95 or 85. So, Sohail, I also want to tell you that the CBSE results are declared. And since I was coaching CBSE a lot, so one of my students has got a 97%,
Wow.
marks. She's got 98 in maths and 95 in sciences. And, there are results coming in. There is a student who has got a 79%. But for me, both of them are, is a celebration. The reason being, you have to only outperform yourself.
Right.
Right? So it's not that 97 is great and 79 is not. Both the percentages, each and every percent is valuable because the child has come from where?
Exactly.
That matters. Yeah. Wonderful. So Suhail, I think I've asked you most of the questions. Only the order of the questions have changed. I want to know two things. Your most struggle time. Okay, if you've not mentioned that, and your biggest accomplishment until now. Go ahead.
Okay. My I think I spoke about my biggest struggle, which is definitely the second time my shoulder injury happened, and really like getting yourself out of that zone, and then just coming out of the setback and then just getting back your focus, because you have to. It's when you are so used to training every day, so active, you basically when you get injured as an athlete, a lot of it stops, right? Suddenly, like one day back you're doing so much and then the next day nothing. So kind of to just get your mindset right, to get your emotions right, to gather yourself and then to pick up again. So to gather yourself and pick up again from a setback, as I mentioned, my shoulder injury, I think that has been the hardest, especially when you prepare so hard and something like that happens. But I've really seen like how this has helped me in also many ways, because you see that you have the courage to overcome so many things. So from your setback also you can take a lot of positives. It's always really how you approach a situation. You can either become bitter or you can become wise out of a setback. So I think I would definitely become wise from
So
the setback.
Suhail, I want to say this, guys, all of you, whoever is watching this, Suhail said a wonderful thing. Anything, can be taken away from you anytime.
That's true.
Anything. It can be your health, it can be your money, it can be your loved one. Anything can vanish from your life, can be taken away from your life anytime.
That's true.
And that is the truth of life. And as he said that this setback has made him wiser. Okay, so great. I mean, thank you for bringing that forth. We know this, but it is important that we keep this as a background. Obviously, like when Suhail was training, what is like training. Like we go to the gym for an hour and it's like, "Maine kitna training kiya," to a level of the training that the athletes do. It's not only international. Even when he was in this country, and everybody who is playing a serious sport, they are training like crazy. Even online training going on here, they're putting the fullest, potential into training. And when you know that the next day you have nothing to do, you can't even move. It is depressing, right?
It is.
I'm sure that so many people, all of you now, the gyms are not there. But when he came to know, honestly, when he came to know that kal se gym nahi, I mean, it won't be open. It's like, my God, वो सुन के ही depression आ जाता है. हम क्या करेंगे? Because that gives those positive hormones, into our bloodstream, and we feel so nice the entire day. So, and now your biggest accomplishment today.
So my biggest accomplishment, I'm sure, is yet to come. But as of now, I think the biggest accomplishment for me was when I was 15 years old. Actually, one very renowned coach in India, his name is Kundan Chandra. He promoted me to the senior team. So to be a 14-year-old and to play with men who are 22, 23, even older than that, I think it was a huge step for me, and it was a huge part of my development. And for a coach to have that much confidence, in a boy, to give him that chance, I think I that is a moment that has stuck with me always.
So, I mean, I can see that you know you're worthy, and it is very important that we know that we are worthy. But when we are so laser focused, when we put our efforts and when you're noticed,
Yes.
that's the life changing time. So I always say this, Suhail. I've been a teacher who have been very dedicated, determined, committed. I've made my mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm evolving. But believe me, when I always think that it's important that I get noticed for what I'm doing. I don't have to say it. So the same thing. I think it's wonderful when somebody notices your work. That underlying some work is going on. You are like just following because you're loving it, and then somebody makes a mention of it. Like, and I'm sure that experience for you, it was like it reinforced your belief that yes, you are doing the right thing. Wonderful. So I think we are almost at the end of our interview. um, okay, so एक चीज मुझे बताइए for the students who are listening,
Yes.
that I know that you have managed to study a lot in very little time. Is there any special study hack that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I would say that, as a student, I've always cared about only one thing, that is that I should understand what is being taught to me. So that for me is the very important thing. Like, I could never, mug up and learn things. I was never comfortable doing that. But once I understood something and then putting the pieces together of what is trying to be taught as a whole, that was very important to me. And I always write in my own words in examinations. So whether teachers like it or not, I always write in my own words, and so far it has always seemed to work for me. And also paying attention in class. So I remember many times, like, a teacher has given an example in class to explain something, So I've written that, because I've paid full attention, I've written that same example that she gave in class, that is outside the textbook, put it in my answers, and teachers really appreciate that you are listening to them and you're benefiting. So writing in your own words and understanding what is being taught, not just brainlessly, mugging it up. I would say that has been the key for me to doing well.
So, guys, this is the coolest tip. My students should get this. As I've always tell in my interview videos, that whoever is talking to you need to be listened. Okay, so whichever teacher, I am sure that some teachers have different styles, but just because just it doesn't go with you, no, you have to listen. First hearing, if it is you get most of it, it is life becomes easy. I think Suhail was able to play soccer only because he was good in academics, and he was good in academics because he was paying full attention to school, and he was doing that because he didn't have time luxury. He
That's true.
wanted to have time for training, right? So he
Yeah,
knows that मुझे इतना ही time है, मैं इधर सीख लूंगा. I save so much of my time in learning, going to a tutor, right? When he was young, he could give some time, or I will actually say waste time into a second learning. I always want that students learn from their teachers, first teacher, whoever is teaching, so the second teacher can build up and give more practice. And also as he also said that because he listened to the teacher, he got the vocabulary of the teacher, which is technical. And if you have the technical vocabulary, you are not writing your own words, but you are actually using that vocabulary which your teacher is telling. So it is that teacher's words that you write, right, Suhail? Yeah, so you are thinking that you are writing in your own words, but you are picking up from the teacher, है ना? And or you're reading the book. So you were not blabbering things, but you are actually reproducing what the teacher has told you.
of course, the keywords will never change in your answers, but it's just that you write it like not how it's written in the textbook, maybe in your own way, but the concepts are conveyed. The
Absolutely.
It's conveyed.
And
You're right.
I remember your answers. How can a student get marks? Teacher don't know that. I mean, it's not possible for us to have a separate paper for Suhail. I mean, separate correction way for Suhail. There is what we are looking are the keywords. Okay, and if you are I think आजकल सबकी English, the English is pretty good, so that's not a problem. It's only the terminology that is missing, and the answers don't weigh so much there. Wonderful. So, okay, so you said that this is a strategy that you would pay attention in class, and yeah, so give regard to every teacher who is speaking, and I'm sure you save so much time, and you can do whatever you love, right?
Yeah.
So Suhail, I want you to, now we are at the end and the last question. I want you to really give a message to the students as well as the parents, the elders who are listening to you.
Uh, a message for what exactly? Just generally,
Yeah,
what
so
I.
if you are getting an opportunity to talk to the audience, to the younger students who are listening to you, somebody of your age, somebody of my age, if they're listening, what is it that you want to communicate to the people?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I would like to tell everyone is to practice yoga actually. That's one thing I would say because after I got introduced to my guru, Sadguru, like my and I started, I learned some very powerful yogic practices, and my life has completely changed after that. And no matter what you basically want to do, right? Is it be a teacher, you want to start your business, or you want to play a sport or anything like that? The key is how well you can use your mind and body. If you learn how to use your mind and body, your emotions and your energies, like how you want, then you can really accomplish anything you want. So that is what I would like to say, is that that everyone should do this, that learn how to maximize your potential as a human being, because human beings can do incredible things. That is what I would like to say.
Absolutely. We are magical beings. We are magical beings. We are godicals. And so you're talking about the Isha Foundation?
Yes, I have learned many practices from Isha Foundation, and I'm also a part-time volunteer, and it has really been incredible.
So, the highest, what is the highest success for any person is to able to live a life of choice. And what Suhail rightly said, by practicing yoga, you are tapping into your, you know, unlimited abilities of your mind. And my brother is strongly recommending the Isha Foundation yoga. But he said that learn from, you know, learn when it's going, not online. Go and learn when it's really happening in the
Yes,
center.
yes,
So
yes.
I'm just waiting for this thing to go. In fact, when I stopped my coaching center last year, and I'm going to be on my own, the first thing I wanted to do in March is go into this. March, April, I was going to go to the place and learn, or maybe if it's happening in Mumbai. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that these things, meditation, yoga, these are the fundamentals, fundamental
Yes,
for a human being, right,
yes,
Suhail? Yes.
absolutely. And you just mentioned that you are looking to, learn, practice, and things like that. I would absolutely recommend it, totally. And I didn't know that actually your brother's also a meditator and a Ishaite, basically.
Follower.
So,
Yes, he is a Isha
yes.
follower. And I was just, because in between I was checking his post. Every time there is a Isha meditation camp happening in my surroundings, he will tell me, Didi, you should do it. Because I do meditation, I'm grappling, But he says that the way you are connected, you're aligned, this is going to take to you another world altogether. As you rightly said, it's like for you, it's absolutely the whole world has changed, right? Ever since you
Yes,
started this meditation.
because even after all the commitments that I have, which is academics and football, if you see my schedule, when I'm in Portugal, I'm living by the hour. And even with that schedule, in a day, I would give around 1.5 hours to my yogic practices and meditation. And because when something is so powerful and something benefits you so much, then you will naturally see the benefit of giving that time to it, and you learn so much. Like the mind is such a powerful thing. If you can make it pointed and laser focused, it can even manifest. and I've experienced this. So, these things you won't learn in a textbook.
So it can even manifest, it always will manifest.
Yes.
Always. Yes?
Yes. So these things you can't learn in a textbook or in school. This is a different kind of science, different kind of learning that has been explored in our culture, but it's being forgotten. So it's very important that we benefit from this.
Suhail, I really want to admit that I never thought that our interview, in an interview with a student who is an international athlete person, will turn to mindfulness. This is the greatest gift that you are giving to the audience. And friends, I at some point in time I want to really dedicate my teaching into this particular area of mindfulness. Though I am now into academics with the pandemic, all this going on, I wanted to get into mindfulness, but I'm still into academics. And through my course, you won't believe I'm working on my course. I am doing a lot of these trainings. I want children to tap into the innate ability. So yesterday I created a presentation where I'm teaching them meditation techniques.
Okay.
So can you beat that in my program? So well, it's not it's absolutely a coincidence that we are talking today, because yesterday I created a presentation of my video course, and one of the presentation is talking about setting their goal, giving them a creed, giving them affirmations, and teaching them 3 easy meditation techniques. So when we do that, then we start with chemistry. So I think this is absolutely important and fundamental that we understand the magical power that we have.
I'm very happy to actually know that as a teacher that you are implementing this because I think it's very important. And I'll also send you some links, that some guided meditations that you can do, and you should pass it on to your students also. I'm sure it will benefit you and them very much.
Absolutely. Please give me those links, and I'm going to put this along with this video. So if you want to live a life of your choice, if you want to, have your, so I call these as distractions which are turned into passion. So Suhail got distracted by football, he turned it into a passion, then an obsession, and that is his life now, right? So friends, I really wish that you have some distractions like this in your life. You pay attention to them, get passionate about it, convert them into your obsession, and then that is the love of your life. Thank you, Suhail, for being here. It was wonderful. And when the most important part of this video is when you spoke about your yogic practices, and we are appealing each one of you to take up whichever platform you want. It's not necessarily that what we mentioned, but start doing yoga, start doing meditation, and turn your life into a magical life.
Well said.
Thank you so much. Please encourage us by liking our interviews, like, subscribe, and also share with your friends and families so they can learn from my students and create even more beautiful lives. Thank you once again, Suhail. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you
Keep
so
in
much.
touch, dear. God bless you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.